standings kind of led up to this. South Summit's from the beginning knew they'd have a good football team. They've been number 1 in the state, 2A, throughout the season. And except for the one week where North Summit got them, they've definitely proven that they are that best team so far in 2A. So they'll be excited to come out here and, as you said, try to solve the puzzle that has been San Juan for the Wildcats. And if they're going to do it, this is definitely going to be the year for them to be able to get that win over San Juan.
Going over some of the 2A standings, South Summit and North Summit tied in the 2A North, both 5-1. Millard was the third-place team at 4-2. Layton Christian 3-3. And in the 2A South, top 4 teams were Beaver 6-0, Grand 5-1, San Juan and Enterprise both 3-3, with San Juan winning, I believe, head-to-head in that situation where it gave them the number 3 seed. So San Juan, as we mentioned here, has always been a team, and we'll mention it right here in the article, as it says, the Broncos, and they're referenced here, 6-4, similar to the Boise State Broncos, notoriously gamble with trickery in possession. And they have often misdirections on kickoffs and halfback passes. They've been known to have some fumble-rooskies at times. They've always been a big, athletic, strong, deep team. And I'm sure we'll see characteristics similar to that today. And so teams getting close to kickoff here. We're 6:48 left for game time as the captains are starting to line up. So we're getting close to an exciting 2A game. The winner of this ball game will go to the semifinals next week, and they will play the winner of the Beaver and Parowan game. And they are playing
tonight at 6.
Tonight at 6 o'clock. Beaver went undefeated, so they are the heavy favorite in that game. And San Juan South Summit winner will play the Beaver Parowan winner, and they will meet up against the other 2 games in 2A. North Summit plays Gunnison tomorrow at 1:30, and Grand and South Sevier play tonight at 6 p.m. So those are the 8 teams in 2A football. And the 4A or the 2A semifinals will be in Cedar City next week, with the first game starting at 11, and the winner of this game will play at 1:30. And so we'll be heading south, the winner of this game, to the 2A semifinals next week in Cedar City. We'll take a little break as we're getting close to game time. 5:51 left until kickoff. Thanks for joining us today. South Summit hosting San Juan in the 2A quarterfinals, and we'll be back. Right back at South Summit High School, San Juan and South Summit, 2A quarterfinals, about 5 minutes away from kickoff. Some leaders for each of these teams coming into the ball game, leading the San Juan Broncos. As we mentioned, in scoring offense, they were 7th in 2A with 18 points per game, and they're the 5th scoring defense, only allowing 15 points per game. Their passing leader is Peyton Palmer, who has passed for 462 yards, 6 touchdowns. Rushing leader Jens Grover, 589 yards on 15 carries, and Daquan Lopez was their leading receiver with 235 yards and 14 catches. Their tackles leader with a great number, Jens Grover, with 135 tackles, and Braden Giddings had 10.5 sacks for San Juan. For South Summit, scoring offense, as Rory mentioned earlier, led the state in both scoring and defense. Their passing leader, junior quarterback Ty Jones, threw for 570 yards, 6 touchdowns over the year. Their rushing leader, one of the top 10 in the state, Colby Averett, 113 carries for 1,100 yards, with Ty Jones 97 carries and 683 yards, 11 touchdowns. Jordan McNair has 13 catches for 214 yards, and their tackle leader, Colby Averett, with 90 tackles, and Brad Richens with 9 sacks, Jordan McNair with 4 interceptions. So we're got a great game in store for you. We'll take one more quick break as we get the national anthem brought to you by the South Summit Cheerleading Group, and following that, we'll be close to kickoff.
Welcome back. We're here at South Summit Stadium, Wildcat Stadium. We've got a great game ahead of us. San Juan against South Summit. The coin toss was taken care of there at midfield. South Summit won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so San Juan will be receiving the ball to start the ball game. As we said last week, the first round of playoffs for 2A began with that play-in game. North Summit had a bye. Gunnison beat the number 3 team in the northern region. That was Millard. And South Sevier, number 6. South Sevier beat the number 3 team. Gunnison beat the number 4 team. And so the southern region actually represented a little better in that first round than the northern region. North Summit and South Summit are the only 2 teams remaining in the northern region, and they had to bye. Gunnison also a northern team. So we're excited about the upcoming game. We've got some great games ahead today. We talked about the schedule for the day, and we'll try to keep you updated. This is the first game of the day for all the playoffs throughout the day or throughout the state. The earliest game today was 2 o'clock for us. The other games in 2A are going to happen. Parowan at Beaver at 6, South Sevier at Grand at 6. So those are the other games. And then the North Summit game against Gunnison will be tomorrow at 1:30. So a lot of great action, a lot of exciting football throughout the state in all classifications, all 6 classifications starting their playoffs today. So we're excited about what's going to happen today. It's going to be a great game. We're excited to have everybody tune in. Got quite a larger audience now. Another opportunity for Deseret News. So we're streaming live through your feed, and we appreciate everybody tuning in as we have the kickoff here.
Right, Harley Georgie for South Summit kicks off. He'll kick a deep ball into the end zone, where San Juan now will start 1st and 10 in the south end zone, and they will get their chance first to put some points on this board. San Juan, as you can see, in all white, in the yellow helmets, and South Summit in the all green, being at home.
That's going to be a huge tool for South Summit if Harley can kick that into the end zone. San Juan always has a great return team. They do the reverse. They've notoriously have done the reverse each time, and I assume they continue that trend, and they're always very effective in the kickoff return.
Palmer in the shotgun for San Juan. First offensive play of the game. He's going to drop back, try to go to a little flanker screen off to the right-hand side. He's tripped up by a couple of Wildcat defenders. He has no gain, and there on the tackle for South Summit, number 24 looks like Jordan McNair, and number 78 Hunter Angel out there as well for South Summit. He loses a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 11 for San Juan.
Caden Christensen also coming out there from the outside linebacker position. Got a good read, good jump, got out there before the receiver could get any part of positive yardage.
All right, so 2nd and 11, just underway here in Camas, Utah. 11:24 in this first quarter. And Palmer will go to the left side this time, trying to get some room out in the open field. He's going to pick up 4 or 5 this time. Again, Angel there with number 32, Averett, as well as Zimmerman on the tackle. And he'll pick up 6 on the play. It'll bring up now about a 3rd and 4. So short situation for the Broncos. They've come out with 2 consecutive
screen plays.
Yeah, outside pass plays. And so trying to spread this South Summit defense out.
Jens Grover was the receiver for San Juan on the play as he went in motion from the backfield to start that last play.
So big 3rd down right off the bat. There's a handoff up the middle, and it's hit hard. Hunter Angel for South Summit dragging down the ball carrier.
Jens Grover,
and they'll drive him back. He'll lose a yard. It'll bring up a 4th and down, so South Summit right off the bat gets a 3 and out. And South Summit now will get the ball on offense.
And that's really the strength of the South Summit Wildcat defense. That front 8 has been very stringent all year long, not allowing a lot of rushing yards in the middle.
So back to punt. Number 4 for San Juan, Terrence Tate for the Broncos. He gets a bit of a high snap. There's trouble, almost hit, and a flag's going to come out. That'll be a big call now, depending on whether that's a 5-yarder or a 15-yarder. As he was there in time, I don't know how he missed the football, and it's going to be a personal foul, and so that will give San Juan a 1st down. And San Juan now gets a break early in this ball game. They'll get a 15-yard penalty. It'll move the ball out to roughly the 40-yard line. So we tack on 15 yards right there, and it'll continue to be San Juan possession, 1st and 10 at their own 40.
And as you said, he was there in plenty of time, almost in time he could really tackle the punter, but just didn't time it right, didn't get his his body on the ball and missed it completely and then hit the punter. So the first break of the game off of a penalty here goes to San Juan. And let's see if they can take advantage of the opportunity with another first down.
This time Palmer for San Juan up under center. As he gets the snap, tosses right, and hit right at the line of scrimmage again. He's going to pick up no yardage, was the ball carrier.
Grover,
That's
Jens
Grover.
Grover once again from the fullback position, and a slew of South Summit Wildcats out there for the tackle as they were trying to spread it out on a pitch play, designed to get to the outside. South Summit has some speed there at the linebacker position, so it's difficult really to run anywhere on this South Summit defense.
Grover in the backfield behind Palmer in motion as they are now going to try to pass. Palmer's looking right. He's got a man open. He overthrows him. It's no good. Ball's intended for number 10, Britton Bowering. It'll fall incomplete, and it'll bring up now 3rd and long for the Broncos at the 40.
First passing play for the play action pass for San Juan. After a few running plays, they tried to catch South Summit off guard by faking the run and then getting out in the pass. It was good coverage downfield as all the receivers were really locked on, had nowhere to go. Probably the best thing to do was to overthrow that pass as they were all covered very well.
Lopez and Bowering out wide for the Broncos in motion. Goes Morley, and the ball could be, they're going to call it incomplete, is close to being a backward pass as he was just maybe a half a yard in front of the quarterback Palmer. Got away from number 8 Lopez, and it's going to now fall incomplete. It'll bring 4th down for the San Juan Broncos, and once again in a punting situation. So the South Summit defense done well on both series, and luckily to avoid giving San Juan a chance to put more points up after they had forced a punt previously. So back again will be punting for the Broncos.
We'll see if they go after the punt as hard as they did the first time. I'm assuming they're going to probably back off a little bit as it's almost punted over his head.
Another high snap, almost blocked again. Punter does a nice job of getting the ball off. The ball dies right at the 40-yard line of South Summit. So number 4 doing a good job, Terrence Tate for the Broncos, of handling some high snaps, getting the ball off under some pressure. And not a deep punt, but a punt nonetheless. And South Summit will take over on their first possession at their own 41-yard line. And so their first chance with 9:14 left in the first quarter. Still no score. San Juan and South Summit in the 2A quarterfinals here in Camas, Utah. And the number 1 ranked South Summit Wildcats taking on the number 5 ranked in 2A San Juan Broncos. And Ty Jones, junior quarterback, will start in the pistol. He's going to pitch right to number 12, Tillett. Tillett's got some room, and he's got the corner. He's across midfield. He's at the 40, down to the 45, still trying. He's going to get all the way down to the 31-yard line. Late flags come in, maybe an extra contact there after the whistle, but a nice run there by Tillett, who marches the ball 29 yards as the sophomore Isaac Tillett gets the toss, and there's going to be a personal foul going to be added on to that play. So 15 more for the Wildcats as San Juan generous on the 15-yarder, and that'll move South Summit inside the red zone, put them down at about the 16, 17-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, South Summit.
As you said, a nice run there by Tillett. He was ran out of bounds by number 8 for San Juan, and then the penalty, another block or a hit in the back at the end of the play, really just kind of leveled the South Summit their offensive player out of bounds and hit him straight in the back. So another 15, a big play for the first play of the game offensively for South Summit.
Jones now is going, ball's on the ground as he's hit right as he's trying to hand off to Colby Averett. Nice play there.
Number 53 in on the tackle for San Juan. Number 53 is
Easton Lee there to break it up. Luckily, Colby Averett right there on the spot to drop on the loose ball. That's been the nemesis. Anytime South Summit's had trouble offensively, it's been with turnovers.
And he was really there early. He got there at the mesh point, didn't even give Ty Jones an opportunity to read whether to give or to keep it himself, as he was there early.
This time they toss left, and they go out to 22, Freestone. Freestone's got some good room, and he's going to be close to the first down off the left side. He's brought down inside the 10-yard line, about the 8-yard line. Looks like he'll pick up the first down for South Summit, and it'll be 1st and goal inside the 10 for the Wildcats.
And the Wildcats showing their speed on the outside. As you can see, they've had the advantage. Both times they've gone outside, they've picked up first downs. So sometimes you got to go outside to set up the inside run. And we'll see if they stretch out the San Juan defense and try to do something up the middle with Colby Averett.
So Oh, they didn't quite get the first down, it looks like. Must have been tripped up just in front. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Tough spot there. I thought he'd picked it up. My mistake. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for the Wildcats. Is now Jones is going to give right up to Averett. Averett's got good yardage, and this time he will pick up the first down.
He's driving all the way in.
Colby Averett battles his way, dragging San Juan Broncos into the end zone, and South Summit strikes first as a 6-0 lead from an 8-yard run from Colby Averett. And South Summit will strike first with 7:31 left in this first quarter. South Summit now up 6-0.
And we've seen that all year long from Colby Averett. He is very rarely stopped by 1 or 2 defenders. The first 2 usually end up with the free ride to 2 or 3 more yards downfield, and that's exactly what he did this time too, as he was hit outside of the end zone and he dragged his defenders in for the touchdown.
Bracken Santos with the extra point is up and good. So with 7:31 left in this first quarter, South Summit in a 2A quarterfinal playoff game gets an early touchdown. They lead 7-0. Back to South Summit High School. 7:31 left in the first quarter. South Summit coming off a nice offensive drive. They pick a 7-0 lead, and the ball's kicked. It's touched just at the end zone, and the ball will go back. It'll be a touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 for San Juan at the 20. Once again, Georgie from South Summit getting a good deep kick, and the Broncos will start again right at the 20-yard line.
And that, like we said, that's a huge plus for South. Somebody kicks it in the end zone. That really takes the ball out of the hands of the San Juan kick return team. Puts them at the 20.
Out wide to the left, Lopez for San Juan. On the right, Bowering. And number 7, Peyton Palmer, quarterback for the Broncos. He's going to come up on the handoff. This time, good running room for the Broncos. Number 12. And number 12 is Jens Grover, leading rusher for the Broncos. Picks up good yardage. He picks up 4 or 5 on first down. First real good offensive yardage they've gotten on the ground. He'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the San Juan Broncos.
So able to pick up some yardage there in between the tackles there, and that's a rarity for the Wildcats, giving up that many yards, especially on first down or running down typically.
Palmer in the shotgun, 2nd and 5, and they'll hand up off the middle. Grover again, and again picks up good yardage. Nice strong running there by Jens Grover. He brings the ball out to the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short for the Broncos. They've been in some long situations in 3rd down already early in this first quarter, so a much more optimal situation for them offensively.
Hunter Angel there with the stop there from the linebacker position, number 78 for the Wildcats after the gain.
Number 32, Trayson Jack out left with Lopez, as Palmer now in the shotgun one more time, and he's going to keep this time trying to find a seam. He's fighting for first down yardage. It's going to be close as he broke the initial tackle, but I'm not sure. They're marking it real close to the 30, which is right where the first down was. We'll see where the marking is.
Looks like they're moving the change, so it must have been enough to pick up the first down as he just barely got the tip of the ball there across to the 30-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Broncos on their first down of the day, not as a result of penalty, as they got a roughing the kicker early in the game that moved the chains their first series. This time they get one off the ground, and San Juan trying to put a series together as they've had difficulty running the ball thus far on this South Summit defense. Pick up a good first down for the Broncos. This time Palmer keeps it on his own. He's hit initially hard. Looks like Hunter Angel, number 78. Braden Crystal there as well for South Summit. Going to pick up about a yard. It'll move it out to about the 31, 32-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Good job there by the D tackles of South Summit. Braden Crystal as well as the linebacker stepping up. You don't usually see a quarterback sneak on a first down play, but they picked up a couple of yards and tried to just chip away to try to pick up another first down here against this South Summit defense.
5:25 left. South Summit leading 7-0. They come on a counter up underneath to number 27 from San Juan.
We don't have a number for 27.
Yeah, Max Morley. Max Morley right down there. San Juan gets it on the counter. We're trying to find everybody here on these programs. It's kind of hard. He picks up a yard or two, and it'll bring up now 3rd and 8 for the Broncos.
And that shows good discipline by the defense, as the counter always, obviously, a misdirection play, trying to get your linebackers to bite one way and then come back underneath them the other way. But our D-tackle or our D-end, Ty Clegg on that side, stayed at home, was able to shed the block and make a play.
So another 3rd and long for the Broncos as Palmer is going to look left. He's trying to roll. He's under pressure, and he's drugged down, this time by number 55, Brad Richens, on the right defensive end spot. He gets the sack, as he's the sack leader for the South Summit Wildcats. It's going to bring up 4th down, and San Juan will be punting deep from their end again.
And that was just an impressive quick move there by Brad Richens, able to get inside of his blocker and just used his quickness to get past him, and then the quarterback after the fake was just eaten up right away.
Terrence Tate for the Broncos. 3rd punt of the ball game for the Broncos as Carson Freestone hustles in for the Wildcats. Tate, a little short, is going to bounce in front, and it's going to take a San Juan bounce, and it's picked up there by number 10, Santos. He tries to cut it back, trying to get some room, and he's going off the left-hand side. He's got a little as he's down the sideline. He's got more as the wall set up for the Wildcats. He's got a chance to go, and no one's going to get him, and South Summit takes the punt back on the punt return as Santos took a few steps to his right, set the wall up. He went back left, and he's going to go 48, 49 yards for the Wildcats, and they strike again and go up now 13-0 on a big special teams play of this South Summit punt return team, and it's now 13-0 lead with 3:42 left for the South Summit Wildcats.
And that's really the first time Bracken Santos has been back to receive a punt this year, as most of the punts have been returned by Isaac Tillett and by Freestone or Zimmerman. And this time, Bracken Santos made the most of his opportunity. As you said, went one way, broke it back to the left, and turned on the Jets. The wall was set up nicely. Sometimes when that happens, when you get that punt return or go in the opposite direction, they'll get some block in the backs, and sometimes that cripples the return. But South Summit did a good job of keeping their head in front and not hitting anybody in the back.
So this time they're going to go for 2.
Nope, actually they didn't call it. They said they was out of bounds.
He stepped out. Jeez, we're calling a touchdown, and he's not even
in. He signaled touchdown.
All right, our mistake again is Averett now will try to get his way back in, and this time it's the touchdown. We've been giving Santos the credit as we were unable to see they'd move the ball back, but this time they did. Averett now will get the touchdown.
Another touchdown for Averett, but really that touchdown was Bracken Santos. As you said, he was just tripped up out of bounds just before the end zone, trying to tiptoe down the sideline. Must have been pushed out just at the 3. So just one more play to get it done, though, and put South Summit up by 2 touchdowns now.
Santos going to have the extra point.
He's going to score one way or another.
Yeah, Santos will get the snap. It's down. Kick is up, and it's a nice-looking kick, up and good, and South Summit out to a good lead, 14-0 lead with 3:36 left in this first quarter. We'll take a break. Couple early scores from South Summit. They lead 14-0 to a quarterfinal playoff game, Camas, Utah. As South Summit's gotten off to a great start, taking advantage, 2 opportunities with the ball, scoring both quickly. As San Juan in need now of a good drive as they try to settle things down here a little bit.
And this is what South Summit did against North Summit when they had their first loss. They took care of business the first half of the first quarter, and it looked like they were going to run away from it, and then it all fell apart on a turnover So South Summit's got to stay focused and make sure they take care of business. And as Coach Parker had talked about in his article, they're not going to be conservative. They're going to continue pushing the pedal to the metal throughout the game and make sure things happen and make things happen. So a good start for the Wildcats as Georgia kicks it in the end zone once again.
San Juan will start again for the third time now at the 20-yard line. 3:36 left in this first quarter.
We'll try to get the starting lineups as we go. Right now we've got Quinn Zimmerman at the right cornerback position. Dax Hansen is your outside linebacker to this side. We got Hunter Angel and Colby Averett at the middle linebacker positions. Caden Christensen, your other linebacker, on the other side.
Palmer now is going to drop back to pass. He's got pressure. He's going to be brought down. Ball's on the ground, and it could be a big turnover as the ball was on the ground as Palmer was sacked. It looks like San Juan got back on the football as the official there holding down second down.
And it looked like C.J. Donetto was leading the charge for the Wildcats. They had 3 or 4 defenders in the backfield right there. It looked like San Juan was trying to set up a screen pass, but the lineman got there so quickly that the quarterback had nothing to do but try to hang on to the ball. It got away from initially. San Juan got back on it, but there was a huge loss on the play. Great job there by C.J. Donetto and the other defensive lineman, just pinning their ears back and making a play.
So the ball pushes all the way back to about the 12, 13-yard line. South Summit forcing San Juan into a second and about 18 yards.
And this is when you usually see one of those trick plays from teams like San Juan and Boise State. As it's been mentioned, they were comparing them to Boise State Broncos. So we'll see if they have something in the trick bag, and they're going to try to pull out here a flea flicker, a double pass, or a halfback pass, something to that effect. We'll see what San Juan does here.
Second and 18, ball at the 12-yard line as Palmer trying to get something going for the Broncos. He's going to keep and go right on the sweep. He's tripped up. Nice tackle there by South Summit. Palmer's going to maybe pick up a yard, and it'll bring up now third and very long for the Broncos.
Colby Averett right there with the tackle coming from the linebacker position, and he's going to get a little break as number 2, Stephen Flinders, checks in, and they'll move.
So tough.
They'll bring in actually 2 safeties now for the Wildcats. So they bring in a safety and move a linebacker out.
Tough position for the Broncos. Third and long into their own way back into their own territory, and certainly do not want to give the ball right back to the South Summit Wildcats with good field position. 2:41 and counting in this first quarter. See if San Juan come up with a big play as Palmer's in the shotgun. He's trying to pass. Palmer's got time this time. He's got a man off the side, but he overthrows him. Intended receiver over there is number 12, Jens Grover. It's going to fall incomplete. It'll bring up 4th and long, and San Juan back into punting situation.
A good call there by the South Summit coaches right there. Usually, and this is maybe the first time South Summit's dropped back with 2 safeties all season long. This time they opted to go back into coverage instead of putting all the pressure on the quarterback. As you saw, he had plenty of time, just nobody to throw it to.
Tate for San Juan, back to punt again. Bracken Santos, the lone return man for the Wildcats. Another high snap as this time it's blocked, and the ball's up in the air, and it's on the ground, and South Summit gets a big turnover as they block the punt. They've been right in on it 3 consecutive times. This time they get a hand on the ball, and South Summit starting to take command in this ball game as they get a big turnover right at the San Juan 5-yard line, and South Summit with a great opportunity to bump this up to a 3-score lead as they're rolling here in this first quarter.
And that was Quinn Zimmerman coming from the outside, and that was picture perfect. He laid out, timed it. You always got to time and jump about 5 yards in front of where the punter was, and he timed that perfectly, laid out and got the ball.
As Jones now is going to pitch off to Keaton Gines. He's trying to find the corner, and Gines reaches for the pylon. Touchdown, Keaton Gines, South Summit, as he dove into the pylon, got the ball inside, and it's a 3-touchdown lead for the Wildcats.
Number 8 there for San Juan, Daquan Lopez, trying to get to the outside and stop the run, but Keaton Gines, one of the quickest teams on this, or quickest players on this team, if not in the state, is able to get to the pylon, reaches it out, and hits the pylon. And as you know, you get that ball on the pylon, it's a touchdown.
20-0 lead for the Wildcats. Santos with the extra point. Kick is up, and this time it's good again. It's a 21-0 lead for South Summit early in this ball game. 2:16 left in the first quarter. It's been all South Summit. Morley and Bowering back for San Juan, trying to get a chance to make something happen on the special teams end for San Juan. As San Juan in need of some big plays offensively, as their offense has struggled here early on with some early outs and has given South Summit an opportunity to kick this up early. This time Bowering trying to keep it out of the end zone where he might run it. It's just a hair over his head. And once again, San Juan will start at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, quarterback Peyton Palmer going to try to lead them into some kind of success here as they've had a hard time holding on to this ball in terms of possession, and they've got to get something rolling here offensively or this thing could get out of hand early.
And this has been a situation San Juan and South Summit has been in. Back in the 1998 state championship game, South Summit had a 20-point lead on San Juan in the first quarter and then came back to put up 36 points unanswered and win that ball game. So we have a legal substitution against San Juan as they broke the huddle with 12 players. So that'll put them 5 more back. So again, South Summit can't go to sleep here. We've been in this situation. Most of these players weren't even able to play football back when that happened in 1998, as they were probably still before school started for them. So keep that in mind.
Palmer now going to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage, as Palmer needing some help here as he's been under constant pressure from the South Summit defense. He's going to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose 3. It'll bring up now 2nd and 17 from the San Juan 13-yard line.
And again, number 4, C.J. Deneno, looked like he was shot out of a cannon when that ball was snapped. He's lined up right over the ball, and boy, he just shot the gap. He was in the backfield before the quarterback could even hand the ball off.
1:44 left in this first period. South Summit leading 21-0. And Palmer in the shotgun. He's going to hand off. Ball's on the ground. Morley trying to secure it. He does. Good job by Morley as he's able to get on top of the fumble. But unfortunately, the exchange between Palmer and Morley for San Juan have some trouble. Now the ball bounces all the way inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 26, 27 yards, and not going well here in this first quarter on this end of the field for San Juan.
San Juan's really just got to get some positive yardage here to give their punter some room, as at this point he'd be clearing the back.
Little quick kick by Palmer. They decide to do it then. It's fielded right at the 30 by number 10, Bracken Santos. He's inside the 20 and down to the 18-yard line. So San Juan trying to catch South Summit off guard on the quick kick. But safety Bracken Santos just happened to be the punt returner as well. Picks up good yardage. South Summit's inside the 20, 1st and 10.
And they kind of stole that one out of Coach Gary Walker's play back when Coach Walker was the head coach. They used to use that quick kick quite often on 3rd and very long situations. And a good job there by Bracken Santos being aware of the safety position that he could return that. He got under and made a catch and then got upfield for a few extra yards.
Ty Jones in the pistols. Short shotgun formation for South Summit. In motion goes Freestone. He's going to go back to the wing spot. 56 seconds in this first quarter left as Jones now will get the snap, and he's going to keep the ball. He's going to be tackled inside for about a 2-3 yard pickup. It'll bring up 2nd and 6 from the 16-yard line.
That quarterback follow play right there we were unsure who had the ball for quite a while, and I think San Juan also didn't know, so they tackled both of them after a minimal game there by Jones.
Good job by the San Juan defense right there. Defense got to come up with a stop, prevent more points from going on the board here. We'll see what both teams do. Is Jones now. He's going to try left or right. He's going to hand off to Averett. Averett falls forward. Good hard run for about 3-4 more. He moves it out to about the 12-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and about 2 to 3 for the Wildcats. Nice tackle again there by San Juan. And it'll bring up 3rd and short for the Wildcats.
Number 53 in on the tackle for San Juan. That's Easton Lee.
That'll end the first quarter of play. South Summit out 21-0. We'll switch ends of the field. It'll be 3rd and short for the Wildcats, threatening to score again, up big, leading by 3 touchdowns. Third and short for the South Summit Wildcats. 3rd and 3, ball at the 13-yard line. Switch ends of the field. San Juan needing a big stop here as they try to stay in this ball game. Down 21 at the beginning of the second quarter. Ty Jones and his South Summit offense trying to get something going. They're going to try the first pass play. It goes to Santos on a little slant. Nice play there by Ty Jones as he picks up the first down. Nice catch by Bracken Santos. Drugged down by number 10. Nice tackle by Britton Bowering. It'll be 1st and goal, South Summit inside the 5.
There is a flag on the play thrown in the middle of the field as it usually is holding from there.
There
it
is.
Like they're going to get him for holding. So we got a holding call against South Summit, so that'll negate that first down pickup on the slant play. And it was funny, the upback or the official inside there threw the flag, and one of the San Juan defenders turned around and caught the flag. So he threw it right at him. Looked like it must have been that guy that got held.
So there's a break for San Juan as they needed one here. Down big and 3rd and 15 as that moves the ball now out to the 23, 24-yard line. First down markers just inside the 10 at about the 8 or 9-yard line. So it'll bring up long yardage for the Wildcats as Ty Jones will now try it again as he goes on a little flanker screen to number 2, Flinders. Nice play there by San Juan as they get a little momentum defensively. Several guys out there, number 7, Palmer, and number 8 for San Juan, Daquan Lopez, on some nice tackling out there, and it's going to be a kicking situation for South Summit. It looks like they'll go to the field goal, and number 25, Harley Georgie, will come out to get the kick. Ball sitting at the 24-yard line.
About a 42-yard.
Yeah. 41-yard field goal for South Summit, sitting right on the right hash. So Harley will have to kick that way left a little bit as he's got a good strong leg, does the kickoff duties for the Wildcats. Santos has been kicking the extra points. So Georgie a chance to tack on 3 more as it's 4th down inside the 25-yard line. The snap's a bit high. Georgie tries a deep kick. It looks good, and Georgie just left, just missed it. Nice kick there by Georgie. As a nice kick just left. So San Juan gets the turnover on the missed field goal, and San Juan, for this first time in this ball game, gets a stop defensively, just what they needed. Score is still 21-0 for the Wildcats, and San Juan will now try to put together an offensive drive, put some points on the board as we're just underway in the second quarter here in Camas, Utah. South Summit, ranked number 1 in the state, playing the number 5 team in the 2A quarterfinals, and South Summit's gotten out to an early lead. We got a little...
They're stopping the clock. I think they're trying to figure out what the clock should be set at. But the penalty being a big play there for South Summit, they're pushing them back. If that penalty hadn't been assessed, then they would have been 1st and goal. Instead, they come away with nothing. San Juan with their first stop of the game.
So this time up underneath, Palmer fakes the handoff, and he keeps, and he's going to pick up maybe a yard as a nice shoestring tackle.
Number 53 for the Wildcats in on the tackle. That's Riley Fees. Short gain, quarterback kept that one and stretched out for an extra yard, or he would have been stopped for nothing as Fees held on to his shoelaces.
San Juan, 2nd and 9. Palmer, quarterback for, junior quarterback for the San Juan Broncos as he's back to pass. He's got some room this time. He's going deep. Nice looking ball. A little over the outstretched hands there of number
82 was the intended
for
receiver.
The Broncos.
He was covered by Quinn Zimmerman. Number 82 was the intended receiver. It looked like he was way overthrown. It looked like he ran a post route when he should have been running a fade, or at least the quarterback thought so. That's Jonathan
Lewis there on the
intended receiver.
So it'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Broncos. Once again, a 3rd and long situation. San Juan's had a difficult time throwing the ball in some deep situations. See if they can't pick one up here as Palmer now is trying to go. He's setting up a screen, the left-hand side. It's picked off, and he's going to go the distance. Brad Richens gets the interception. He's in the end zone. A penalty is on the ground, but Richens stepped right in front of the screen pass, and he went the distance. But there is a penalty on the ground.
Yeah, hopefully that is not a roughing the quarterback call, as that's usually what happens there at the end. We'll see what it is, but a great play there by Brad Richens. Personal foul, roughing the quarterback. Yeah, that's huge, a huge break for San Juan, as that takes away a touchdown. They're saying that he pushed the quarterback after the ball was thrown. I'm not sure what they're saying, and Coach Parker definitely wanted an explanation on that one. That's a huge break. Takes away a touchdown. Brad Richens, the defensive lineman's dream. He picks it off and takes it in for the touchdown, but it'll be all for naught. That'll be another first down by penalty for San Juan.
So San Juan now will get to maintain possession. It'll mush the ball all the way out to the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, so avoiding a bullet there, the Broncos did. So another break, new life for the Broncos. 9:57 left in this second quarter. This time Palmer will go up underneath center. And he's going to look left on a little slant route, throws it behind the intended receiver, number 10, Bowering. It'll bring up now 2nd and 10.
Actually, the intended receiver was number 8, and it didn't even look like he knew where the ball was coming his way. That was Daquan Lopez, as the ball was thrown behind him, and he didn't even look like he moved to try to catch that ball. Wasn't really expecting it on that backside. Incomplete pass there. Quinn Zimmerman on the defense on that end over our right cornerback.
So Palmer in the shotgun this time. 2nd and 10. He's looking right and got some time, looking for a comebacker. Nice play there. Nice catch by number 10, Bowering. Good job. He's right at the first down marker. So a nice play by San Juan as they pick up good yardage on the pass play, and Bowering did a great job coming back to that ball, and it was just above the ground, went down low, picked it up. 1st and 10, San Juan. Back-to-back first downs for the Broncos.
As you said, a good job there by the receiver, as he had to readjust his route and come back and catch that ball. Just enough to pick up the first down.
Palmer got a good arm, puts a nice tight spiral on the ball as they try to put something together. Palmer under pressure. He's hit hard, and just as he throws, knocks the ball loose from his pass route. It falls incomplete, and it'll bring up now 2nd and 10. Several South Summit defenders were there just as he released the football.
Caden Christensen in with the hit on the quarterback, and that definitely threw his pass off of target.
Palmer's been under a lot of pressure from this defensive front of the Wildcats as they've put a lot of heat on the quarterback for the Broncos. He's had time at opportunities, but this time he didn't. He'll be back in the shotgun again, 2nd and 10, as Palmer now trying to go to the air, and he's got pressure again. This time he's got an out route. Nice ball by Palmer as it's right on the money, but slips through the hands of number 8,
again,
Lopez
on the comeback route. He was trying to pick up the first down as he ran the comeback right at the sticks. Just a little bit overthrown, and again, the quarterback under pressure once again had plenty of guys, and Coach Parker's lived up to his word of not playing conservatively here as he's brought pressure on that quarterback time and again. And it's been one of those things where if you get pressure up the middle, a lot of times you got to run those screen routes to keep them on their toes, but the screen plays have not worked for San Juan, as South Summit's done a good job of reading those and getting back into coverage.
So 3rd and 10. This time Palmer wants to tuck it on to draw, and this time he has no room to go as Braden Crystal and number 71, Ty Clegg for the South Summit Wildcats in on the stop. It's going to bring up a 4th down situation for San Juan back to their own 44-yard line, and once again Tate will punt for the Broncos.
And they are just coming after the quarterback. They've tasted some blood, and they are just after him every play. As we've got 2 back for the Wildcats.
Got a new punter in the ball game, this time number 11. Casper Peterson back this time for the Broncos.
Jordan McNair back for the Wildcats with Bracken Sanos.
Nice high punt. And settling under it is McNair, and McNair will get a chance to return one as McNair trying to find a seam, and he's breaking his way out towards midfield. Good return by McNair as he gets about a 16-yard pickup on the return. The ball is right at the 49-yard line. South Summit will get a chance offensively right at their own 49 to continue this margin of point total right here. 21-0 lead for the Wildcats as South Summit now trying to extend to a big lead before halftime. 8:33 left in this second quarter.
Jens Grover was the tackler for San Juan on the special teams.
So Jones is going to hand off right up the middle to Freestone this time. And Freestone will move the ball across midfield to the 44-yard line. He'll pick up about 6. It'll bring up 2nd and 4 for South Summit.
Peyton Palmer, the quarterback, in at the linebacker, made the stop, as well as number 12 for San Juan. That's Jens Grover. 32, I think, also was in on the tackle for San Juan as Trayson Jack also coming up with the tackle on the play.
So 2nd and 4 for the Wildcats. And in motion goes Tillett. This time they'll hand up. Nice job, San Juan, that time. Stuffs the runner, Colby Averett, behind the line of scrimmage. He loses 2. Good job there by the Broncos as they put South Summit now in the 3rd and about 5. And nice tackle led up there by number 67 from San Juan. Big tackle in there to block him up. That's Chase Richmond and others helping out.
Jens Grover and Jack also in on a stunt play, really, and they were there as the ball was handed off.
So a 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5, South Summit. A manageable 3rd down.
7:25 left in this second quarter. South Summit likes to go to the speed out wide off, and this time they'll go to it. Jones pitches off to number 12, Tillett. Tillett's got the first down. He's up the sideline. He's fighting for extra yardage. He's going to go all the way down to the 32-yard line. Great pitch there by Ty Jones. He held it just before he got hit. Nice left-handed pitch off to the sophomore Tillett. He'll pick up first down. He'll pick up about 14. It'll be 1st and 10, South Summit.
Good job there by Jones, as it looked like he tucked the ball initially to just go for it himself, but realized he had a man out there in good pitch position, and he pitched it to the sophomore Isaac Tillett, who did the rest. Picked up enough for the first down.
So out wide to the right this time, Stephen Flinders. South Summit marching again into North San Juan territory. And they're going to come on the ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground. Fumble for the Wildcats. It looks like they're going to maintain possession as it didn't bounce too far away. It'll bring up a 2nd down situation. They'll lose a yard on the fumble.
So it was a counter play to Isaac Tillett once again, and it was the exchange was not very clean there. And that's what South Summit has to avoid. They've got to take care of the ball. If they take care of the ball, eat up clock. We're still in the first half, but South Summit's still got to think about that and take care of the ball and make sure they do not give extra opportunities to this San Juan Broncos.
San Juan could use a turnover or 2 here. A big play on the defensive side. This time they'll go out wide to Gines. Gines has got good room, and he's off to the side. He cuts it back. Good run there by Keaton Gines. He's inside the 20, down to the 19-yard line. San Juan.
Nice tackle, number 82 for San Juan.
Jonathan Lewis.
Jonathan Lewis did a good job as Keaton Gines had the speed up, and really once you get going the speed up like that, Keaton Gines is tough to bring down, so a great tackle there by number 82, Jonathan Lewis, and South Summit once again showing their speed to the outside.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. 5:56 left, second quarter. They come on the counter to Gines again. He's got room again, trying to find the corner. Nice hard hit by San Juan's number 8, Daquan Lopez. Drives him out, but Gines picks up 7 or 8 yards, and it'll be 2nd and short for South Summit.
Again, trying that counterplay once again, it still wasn't a very clean exchange as they had a lineman right in the way as he received that handoff. He had to run over his own lineman to try to get outside. But this time they had enough blocking downfield and sealed the outside so that Gines could pick up some yardage to the outside all the way down to the 11-yard line, 12-yard line.
So 2nd and 4 for South Summit as they're threatening here to go up big. And Jones negotiating his men around. They go up inside to Averett. Averett's got a chance, and he's going to walk in. Nice 12, 13-yard run by Colby Averett, and South Summit strikes again. They're up now 4 touchdowns with a 27-0 lead on a nice cutback by Averett. He broke 1 tackle, had good blocking downfield, and South Summit scores again.
And the A-Train with his third touchdown of the game for South Summit. He was hit initially. It just kind of rerouted him to some more open field. He cut it back and had nothing but green in front of him. And he ran it in the end zone for, once again, his third touchdown of the game. And we're still here in the first half.
Santos will get the extra point. High snap. It's a fake this time. And Santos is going to walk into the end zone. 2-point conversion as South Summit pulling out the tricks as well. As South Summit now will go up 29-zip. And they take a big lead now with a fake kick. And the kicker, Santos, gets the direct snap. He goes left. It's 29-0 South Summit.
So leaving nothing to chance, and that may have been a play that they're just trying to make sure that it'll work so that they can maybe use that again down the line later on in the playoffs if they continue on, and they got to make sure things work.
So South Summit now looking good early in this ball game. 5:41 left, doing the things they need to do, minimize turnovers, have had a couple of costly penalties, but San Juan has got to get something going here as they've had difficulty, haven't gotten the ball across midfield yet, put together a couple of first downs at times, but have not sustained a drive and need to do so on this possession as South Summit taking advantage of multiple opportunities using a variety of quick players from Averett to Gines to Freestone to Tillett to Santos, and Ty Jones orchestrating the offense with a great line up front as they're providing some good blocking, opening up a lot of holes for this South Summit offense, and now they're leading up 29-0 as Georgie will kick off again for South Summit.
Georgie's 3 for 3 so far in the game, getting the ball into the end zone, not giving San Juan a chance, but we've switched sides of the field, so we'll see if that affects his kick right here.
Georgie, big, deep, high, end-over-end kick. This time it'll fall short, and the reverse on the kickoff comes back to number 27, or what is that, 17? 27, Morley with the return. He gets a good return out to about the 24, 25-yard line. So San Juan with very effective play they've used historically on a reverse on the kickoff. They pick up good yardage across the 20. This will be their best starting field position thus far as they actually move it out to about the 22-yard line. So San Juan 1st and 10.
As you saw, they do that reverse just about every time they get a kickoff return, and this time they actually faked the double reverse. They had another guy coming, and Morley faked to him and kept it himself.
So Palmer's probably going to have to go to the pass more often here as they've got to score often here and get some stops as Palmer's going to roll left, trying to find some room, and he's under pressure, and he's going to be dropped for a sack. And on top of him is number
C.J. Deneno once again and Ty Clegg, both in on the sack, and they've been there all day long. They've kind of made it their home to be in the backfield and to harass that quarterback. And once again, the quarterback had nothing to do but to try to tuck it and get as much as he could upfield, and there were guys waiting. And they got another sack for a loss here.
So Fees, Clegg, Thornton, and Deneno up front for the South Summit defense as they rotate multiple linemen in. Palmer's back to pass. He's got some room this time. Falls short, and they're going to throw a flag as the ball hit the ground 3 or 4 yards in front of number 1 or 3?
Actually was the intended receiver. That's Hayden Brown for San Juan. The ball was thrown really nowhere he could catch that ball, but the cornerback came over and
looked like he even hit him after the ball had hit the ground. At any rate, they're going to get a penalty, and it's going to be a personal foul penalty, so obviously it was after the play.
Automatic first down.
So third personal foul on South Summit, 45 big yards they've given to San Juan on the personal fouls, and so that's going to move the ball out to the 37-yard line. Actually, the 34 as Palmer had been sacked, so it'll bring it out to the 34-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for San Juan. Palmer in the shotgun, 4:49 in the second quarter. South Summit leading 29-0. And into a little shovel pass up front to San Juan. He's trying to pick up yardage and picks up a few yards on good hard running by number 27, Morley. And he picks up about 3 or 4 out to the 38-yard line. We'll bring up 2nd and 6.
And that's a good play to call, too, that shuffle pass. You get a lot of penetration from that defensive line. Sometimes you can fool them by getting that shuffle pass underneath them as they're coming upfield hard. This time they were able to pick up 3 yards on the play. So
Palmer's got 3 men wide to the right, 1 to the left. One man next to him as Palmer's back to pass. Good time this time as he's going deep. The ball's right there, and there's going to be another penalty on the ground as Zimmerman got tied up with number
2.
Two over there. Number 2 being
Quentin Zimmerman on the coverage as it looked like he grabbed his man. They tried a double move against him. That was intended for Grant Laws of San Juan, and he might have caught him on the double move, and Zimmerman just grabbed a hold so that they wouldn't give up the 6.
So back-to-back penalties on Zimmerman as he's now going to take a little breather, and they'll go to first down, long penalty on the Wildcats. So that's going to move the ball out to cross midfield.
First time they've gotten into South Summit territory in the ball game, and it's been primarily on penalties here. Is that actually they're just short
right at midfield at the 50.
The 50. So Bracken Santos comes in at the cornerback position on that right side. And San Juan, really the success they've had has been in coverage or trying to drop back into pass.
Good job up front, San Juan that time, providing Palmer with some room. This time he's trying to find some, but he's drugged down behind the line of scrimmage by number 32, Averett.
35, Victor Thornton
there
also
as well.
there coming in from the defensive end position as he got upfield, but was able to have enough strength to reach out and grab a hold of Palmer, and you saw him stretch out that jersey, and he had enough hand strength and arm strength to hang on and bring him down before he could get away from him.
Palmer will lose 2, pushes the ball back to the 47. It'll bring up 2nd and 13. Palmer continuing to go in the shotgun. Nice time this time. It's across. It's picked off by Freestone. He may go all the way, and he will. Touchdown, Carson Freestone. South Summit is in. They settled into that passing lane. Picks off the ball. He goes the distance, and the senior Carson Freestone will put South Summit up 35-0.
Carson Freestone he was the outside linebacker on this position, or this play. He actually just dropped back into coverage and read the quarterback's eyes and just made a break on the ball, stepped in front of that slant route, and he went all the way, escorted by 2 or 3 Wildcats, untouched for another touchdown. First defensive touchdown of the ball game for the Wildcats that will actually stand. They had another interception that was taken back by a penalty. This one will stand.
Bracken Santos with the extra point. Ball is down, kick is up, and it's good. And South Summit now goes up 36-0, 3:19 left in the first half. South Summit leading big.
Georgie.
3:19 left in this second quarter. South Summit leading 36-0. And Harley Georgie once again will kick off for the Wildcats. It's been a good afternoon thus far for South Summit as they've gotten up to an early and a big lead, and things are working well. And something South Summit's like to have seen is early lead, see if they can hold on to this big lead, as this time again South Summit will have to defend a kickoff. And this time, good yardage for Bowering. Bowering's got room. He's got one man to beat. And Georgie, the kicker, the ball's loose. And it's picked up by number 8. Looks like Matt Lee there on the pickup, as Bowering had a great move, and he had moved the ball all the way out to almost midfield. And just as he was getting drugged down, the ball sprung loose. Tough break for San Juan, as they had a nice return on a good run there by Bowering. But South Summit gets the turnover, and they go right back onto the offensive side.
San Juan abandoning their signature reverse on the return and just straight up the middle on a wedge. Almost broke it, but Harley Georgie would have none of that as he came up, made the tackle, and forced a fumble. Matt Lee picked it up for the Wildcats, and they're back in business inside of San Juan territory.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats. 36-yard line of San Juan as Keaton Giants goes in motion. Jones wants to pass this time. It's across the middle. Trying to go to number 44, Daxton Hansen. Threw a little bit behind him. It falls incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
So really one of the first times that Ty Jones has dropped back into a long drop on a pass play, and it was covered well there by San Juan as their linebackers got back into coverage. Dax Hansen really wasn't very open. He tried to squeeze it into a small window, but overthrew him. Falls incomplete.
Ty Jones has gotten progressively better throwing the ball over the season. Got a nice strong arm, making some good reads, and that'll be helpful to him as they go back to Averett. Averett goes up hard up the middle, and Averett's going to pick up about 5-6 yards out to the 31-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats.
Number 12 once again in on the tackle for San Juan. I believe that's Grover in on the tackle for the San Juan Broncos after a pickup of 5 by Colby Averett. They faked the pitch to the outside and then gave the ball to Averett, and that's always the good idea, as he's our leading rusher, or the South Summit's leading rusher on the season. Has to be close to being the leading rusher in the state.
He's about
2A.
10, 11 in 2A, yes, and one of the top 10 in 2 through 5A, so 1 through 6A now, I should say. Lots of movement up front on South Summit.
And that's, again, trying to just pick up an extra easy 5 yards with South Summit, but
several of them
you've got to have everybody on the same page if you're going to go on 2, and that's sometimes tough to do when you're keyed up on a big play. We had a couple players jump, so that'll push them back 5 yards.
So it'll be at the 36-yard line, so they'll negate that 5-yard run by Averett. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. Might be a good time for this Wildcat offense to work on that pass opportunity and try to get some yardage on the pass offense, as Jones now will stay in the pistol formation. A little mini shotgun about 3 yards behind the line. He's trying to roll right, and he's got some room, and he may tuck it, and he does. Trying to find the outside. He's pushed out of bounds. Nice job by South Summit. There is a flag on the ground as he was driven out short of the first down, but there is a flag on the ground, and we'll see what the penalty is. And probably not a good spot for South Summit as it's holding. It's going to drive South Summit back further, so it'll be an interesting call for San Juan as they stop them short. It would be a 4th down situation.
It actually looks like San Juan is going to decline it, force the 4th down instead of giving South Summit a chance to pick up a big play with 3rd down. So that'll be 4th and 10 now for the Wildcats. We'll see if South Summit, again, you're kind of in that territory. You're not going to pick up a whole lot by punting the ball. You may just go for it, as it looks like actually they're going to bring in that punt team, so they'll try to punt it and pin him deep, maybe kick to the corner or get it high enough that the cover team can get down there and make a play.
So just the second time that South Summit's been unable to score in this first half on an offensive series. They missed a field goal early in the ball game, and now will get stopped inside San Juan territory, but South Summit choosing to kick.
It doesn't look like San Juan's buying it, as they don't even have anybody back deep.
Thornton. Nice high kick, not real deep, as it's going to sit inside the 20. Actually takes a San Juan bounce, and the ball bounces all the way the wrong way for the Wildcats. Good bounce for San Juan as they make up yardage, not having to do much, but watch that ball bounce back towards the line of scrimmage. Ends up only being about a 3-4 yard punt. So Thornton won't like that on his average, but good job there by San Juan as they get a stop and get good field position off the punt. Could have been pinned way back, but they pick it up right at the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. They got 1:31 left. See if they can't put together something offensively.
And again, this is one of those spots. Does San Juan drop back and try to make something happen here? And as you said, we saw the last possession ended in a pick 6. They certainly don't need that.
So Palmer now, as they're going to hand off up the middle, hit hard right there as number 12, Grover for South Summit, is hit by number
78. Hunter Angel from the linebacker came up and laid the wood on Grover there, as he it looks like San Juan is going to elect to just get out of here this half and go to the locker room and try to figure out what's going on here and try to come out in that second half and do something with it, as now the clock just keeps running, just over a minute left in the first half.
2nd and 9 for the Broncos. This time Palmer goes into the shotgun. They pass the handoff to Morley. Morley's hit right about the line of scrimmage again. He'll fall forward. Good job there by Morley, fighting for extra yardage. He'll pick up about a yard or two, and he'll bring up 3rd down now as the clock continues to count at 44 seconds and 43, as each team looks like they're content to let this thing run out. They may have to snap one more, but this half has been dominated by South Summit as they lead 36-0 and have pretty well done what they've wanted to do, both offensively and defensively. Had a few mistakes as San Juan's tried to capitalize on a couple of them, just unable to get things going the way they want offensively. Been under a lot of pressure from this South Summit defense, gotten a couple of turnovers that have led to some easy scores. And Palmer is going to throw one last play. He's going to try to go deep to Bowering, and it's right there. Bowering catches the ball. He's got a chance, and he cuts it back. Ball's on the ground again in South Summit. Tough break again by San Juan as they get a great play on a great catch. And Bowering twice now has had great plays on a beautiful ball by Palmer, dropped right into his hands out in front of the South Summit secondary. But as he's fighting for more yardage, it's pulled out by the Wildcats. And a heartbreaker. You got to feel bad for Bowering there as he's had a tough break last couple of plays on some big plays. But that'll bring 3.7 seconds left, and the ball will go over to South Summit.
That was incredible concentration there by Bowering as he had a safety coming over and just mistimed his jump, Stephen Flinders, and that looked like he may have hit it. But it got away, and Bowering able to get his fingers on that ball and pull it in. But that's going to be the end of the first half.
So San Juan and South Summit in a 2A quarterfinal game. It's been South Summit thus far leading 36-0. We'll take a break here for halftime. We'll be back with third quarter action. But South Summit has had a great first half, and they've put up 5 touchdowns out to a 36-0 lead. And we'll come back on a beautiful day in Camas where this 2A game is not going the way San Juan wants, but we'll let it go, and we'll have a halftime break. 15 minutes on the clock. We'll see you in a few. Back to South Summit High School. Cody Bowen bringing you South Summit football with San Juan joining today with the quarterfinal matchup here in Camas as South Summit is out to an early and big 36-0 lead at halftime. We have about 3.5 minutes left in this halftime. As things have gone well thus far for the South Summit Wildcats as they've scored on several plays running from Colby Averett with 3 touchdowns on a 15-yard run, a 3-yard run, a 7-yard run. Keaton Gines on a 4-yard run, picking up the 4th touchdown, and Carson Freestone picked up a touchdown on an interception that he ran back from his linebacker spot, about 45 yards. And so South Summit has had 5 touchdowns and have kept San Juan from really entering South Summit territory thus far. And so South Summit doing a good job defensively. They've taken care of the ball offensively, and San Juan has had some big plays. Bowering has had some good run, or a nice run back that unfortunately he was unable to keep possession of as he was drugged down, and a big pass play right before the halftime ended where he had about a 60, 70-yard pass play that was just unable as he fought for more yards and lost the possession there as well. So San Juan has had some opportunities to try to get into the end zone, just unable to make it work, and hopefully they can figure some things out on their end, try to get back into this ball game. Being down 5 possessions, they're going to have to score on most possessions and have to keep South Summit out. And thus far, that's been proven difficult for San Juan to keep South Summit out of the end zone. As we mentioned earlier, not many games going on in the early part of this day, but a lot of games statewide coming up later. In the 1A quarterfinals, Duchesne, who has the current longest winning streak in high school football history, is trying to go for, I believe, their 4th consecutive state championship. They're leading at halftime over Monument Valley 28-0. And Monticello and Rich are tied up at 7-7, just underway in the first quarter. In the 2A playoff, as we mentioned earlier, San Juan, as we mentioned, losing 36-0 to the South Summit Wildcats. Parowan and Beaver at 6 p.m. and South Sevier at Grand at 6 p.m. later tonight. And tomorrow, I believe, at 1:30, Gunnison will be visiting North Summit for the 4th quarterfinal matchup, as these teams will all march down to the winners to Cedar City next week at Southern Utah University, where the semifinals will take place at 11 and at 1:30 tomorrow, or next Saturday. And I believe the state championship is being played this year at Weber State University the following week, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. So a lot of football going on, and you can watch and see as much high school football as you'd like today, as there are games starting at about 4 o'clock going all the way through 7, and there are a lot of playoff games statewide. So we appreciate you joining us here at South Summit High School, where South Summit is out to a 36-0 lead. We'll take one more break, come back with a few stats, and we'll get the third quarter underway here at South Summit. All right, we're back. South Summit High School. Rory Cody Bowen joining you for quarterfinals 2A state football. South Summit and San Juan as we're just starting the second half. And San Juan will be kicking off to South Summit as they deferred to the second half, and they'll be kicking down in the south end zone. So we're just underway. Nice high end over kick from San Juan. It's taken at about the 7-yard line, and he's going to come right up the middle. I believe that's Isaac Tillett, or is that Keaton Gines?
That's Keaton Gines. Ball's on the deck, and it looks like San Juan. Oh, they're saying he was down. Fortunately, he was down. Now we've got a player down on the field.
Looks like Quinn Zimmerman's shaking up a little bit for South Summit. Keaton Gines had the return. He brought it out to about 26, 27-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, as hopefully Zimmerman will be okay, as Zimmerman plays a nice role for South Summit, specifically on defense right now. The junior on the corner side and does a good job sometimes coming in as well offensively. So we'll check him out. But San Juan hopefully got some things they can do together that maybe they can focus on in proving some offensive opportunities, as the challenge they've had is moving the football, and when they haven't been able to, they've had to turn the ball over to South Summit's offense, who has had a pretty successful half at moving the ball, running the ball often, as they've had many opportunities in multiple ways to move this ball from the middle to the outside on some pitches, some counters, and up the middle specifically, with Averett scoring 3 touchdowns in that opening half. Looks like we're going to take a little break as they attend to Quinn Zimmerman on the kickoff. We hope he's okay as we'll come back. Just underway in this third quarter, 11:52 left in the ball game. It's a 36-0 lead for South Summit. While we got a break, wanted to send a little shout out to one of the South Summit football players who had surgery today on a tore ACL, and he's in the hospital today. I hope listening. So Chandler Rose, hopefully things are going well and you get feeling better, and hopefully you can join us soon and enjoy the game today. So Chandler, get well quickly. All right, South Summit looks like as they bring Quinn Zimmerman off, he's in some pain. As they attend to him, we'll hopefully get an update soon that he's okay. As Ty Jones now will start the offense. He's going to keep, got some room, and he makes a move, breaks hard out across the first down, out to about the 38, 39-yard line. Good move there by Jones. He'll pick up the first down. Number 10, Bowering on the tackle for San Juan, and South Summit moves the chains.
82 also in on the tackle for San Juan, Jonathan Lewis. And another interesting stat that is kind of coming into play now, San Juan actually has the longest active streak for scoring, the second longest in Utah Prep history. They've scored in every game since 1999, 169 straight games.
Averett with the handoff. He's got some room as he stiff arms and throws a San Juan man down. He hurls over another one. Exciting run there by Averett, as it looks like there's a penalty, may bring it back. But Averett showing some agility in addition to the strength as he picks up good yardage, but back in the backfield for South Summit might be, see, it looks like
face mask
on South Summit. So I don't know if
he got the face mask on the stiff arm. I don't know, but he showed some strength, as you said, as he just kind of shoved that guy off of me and then almost jumped over another defender. So another penalty against South Summit. And that's something they're going to want to clean up as they go deeper and deeper into the playoffs. You cannot have this many penalties against a team that's going to keep you in the game, and you don't want a close game coming down to a penalty or here or there. And South Summit's had far too many personal fouls today. They're going to want to try to clean that up as they hope to continue into the playoffs.
So a spot foul on that play. Looks like they'll pick up a yard, as Averett had picked up about 17, 18 yards on the play, but they'll move it back now to about the 40-yard line. And so not many 1st and 9s you get in football, but here's one of them, a first down and 9 to go. And so Jones and the South Summit offense, as in motion, goes Freestone, and they come back on a counter to Tillett. And Tillett's going to pick up 3 or 4 out to the 44-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 6.
66, the tackle, their defensive end for San Juan, number 66. And I'm going to try to get you a name for that, number 66. we'll come back to that as I can't quite.
Braden
There he is.
Giddings.
Braden Giddings
Yep.
plays the defensive end, left defensive end for San Juan. He was able to stay at home and make a tackle on that counter till it coming back underneath. That'll bring up second and a long 5 for South Summit.
10 minutes and counting in this third quarter as this clock will run on the non-stop rule. Any team over 35 points. South Summit just went over that as this time Freestone's got good room on the pitch. He has a nice hard hit and drives a man out of bounds as number 82 for San Juan in on the play. I believe that is Jonathan Lewis.
Jonathan Lewis. Yep.
On the tackle as Freestone picks up about 10 big yards. We're across midfield to the 45-yard line. South Summit 1st and 10.
And the clock, as you saw, he did go out of bounds on that play, but the clock, is they're winding it now, is a continual clock here. Any team that goes up 35 more points in the second half, they're just a continuous clock.
So Jones now will hand off to Averett. Averett trying to find running room. He cuts it back and breaking tackles as the junior running back from South Summit out across the 40-yard line to the 37. Good cut back again by Averett. He'll pick up 8. It'll bring up 2nd and 2.
Number 82 and number 8 in, both on the tackles. That's DeQuan Lopez and Jonathan Lewis for San Juan. Their two safeties coming up and making a play, bringing down Colby Averett, and it took both of them to be able to bring him down. He did a good job of reading the defense, seeing his blocks, and he found some gaps and got upfield.
South Summit has scored on every possession but 2 thus far as again they go up hard up the middle as Averett busts across, will pick up the first down. He's going to get about 6 and he'll be at about the 32-yard line now. It'll be again 1st and 10 South Summit.
And they'll temporarily stop the clock as they move the change, and South Summit's looking to add to their lead here. 8:31 left in the quarter. Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've kind of got a wider audience today. Typically, All West Communications carries the game locally here for the South Summit fans. We've got it actually on the World Wide Web on our YouTube channel.
And Ty Jones on the play. He's looking to pass. He's got a man out Averett on a little out route, and he's got the first down. Nice pass there by Averett, delivering right on the money to Averett. He'll pick up 13, 14 yards. Another first down by South Summit.
There's that waggle pass, they call it. They fake the run coming one direction, and then they have the quarterback roll out the other direction, and the fullback comes out into the flats. He fakes the dive up the middle, gets out into the flats, and a big gain for South Summit. And that's one thing, South Summit is definitely not as one-dimensional as we have been in the past, or as they have been in the past. Typically a run-heavy team, but they do have the ability to throw the ball downfield when they need to.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Inside the 20 again. They're going to pitch over to Freestone. Great pitch by Jones as Freestone does another great job of dragging defenders. He's inside the 10. He's real close to the first down again. It's going to be close. They mark it first down. It's 1st and goal, South Summit.
And that was an incredible pitch there by Jones as he had enough strength to keep his balance being brought down and made a great pitch to the outside, and that is tough to defend. San Juan team comes up, and it looks like they've got him stopped in the backfield, and then they've got that extra pitch to pick up big yardage.
So 1st and goal for the Wildcats, and they go hard right up the middle, and look like ball's on the ground. It's still rolling around, and San Juan gets the stop they need on the fumble from South Summit. So the stop there by the Broncos, and they will take over on the fumble.
So certainly not what South Summit wanted. Again, you've got to take care of the ball. With a big lead like this, really, it's all about just taking care of the ball and killing clock. And they did a good job up until that last play. San Juan will take over deep in their own territory now.
So 1st and 10 for the Broncos, and do what they have to do. Another South Summit touchdown right there would probably put this game out of reach, but New Life still holding on to some chances here as the Broncos hand off to Morley. Morley's trying to find the corners, got a little running room, and he's really broken out front. Nice run there by Morley, showing some speed on the outside. He's driven out of bounds, and a nice big run play, the biggest one of the game thus far for San Juan as they pick up about 14 yards on the sweep, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
Yeah, as you said, that's probably the longest running play for the night for San Juan, as South Summit just over pursued on that sweep, and he was able to find a gap and pick up a first down.
6:06 left in this third quarter. South Summit leading 36-0. And now Palmer is going to hand off up the middle to Grover. Grover gets good running yards as well, out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. So a couple of great runs there by San Juan as they try to get a drive put together, get some points on the board in this second half.
That long streak, as I talked about, that long streak, they've got 169 straight games where they have scored. It's every game since 1999, the second long in Utah Prep history, the longest active streak going right now in football in the state of Utah.
In the shotgun, Palmer comes on the counter and gets hit hard. Grover does. He's going to lose 3 or 4. Great stop there by South Summit. Several men hit him just as he tried to cut it up. No yardage, and will actually lose a yard or 2. It'll bring up 3rd and 6 from the 31.
So a passing situation coming up for San Juan, and South Summit's been able to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback in passing situations as they've been able to bring the heat from linebacker positions, and the defensive line for South Summit has been able to get past their guys all day long and get in the head of the quarterback.
Palmer is going to come off the right-hand side to Morley. Nice shoestring tackle by Brad Richens from the defensive end spot of South Summit. No gain. He'll lose another one, and it'll bring up 4th and long for the Broncos.
And a good job there. Brad Richens, the defensive end, he was a all-state defensive end for South Summit last year as a junior, and I'm sure he's got to be in the running for repeating that as he has played well all year long from that defensive end position for South Summit.
Casper Peterson now will punt again. I believe his second punt of the game, as Tate had several punts initially under some heavy pressure. And this time it looks like South Summit will allow this ball to get off. And it's a short kick, just going to hit right at midfield, right in a slew of South Summit return men. They're not sure where the ball was. Luckily it didn't hit any of them, as they would have turned the ball right over there at midfield, but none of them hit. It's a 1st and 10 for South Summit.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary deal. You've got them coming down trying to set up blocks, and if it's a short punt, really it's up to the return man to let the other guys know where the ball is so they can get out of the way. They didn't look like they knew where that ball was. Nonetheless, South Summit does take over just in their own territory.
3:51 left, 3rd quarter. South Summit continuing to lead by 5 touchdowns, 36-0. And Jones now taking his time as that clock continues to run. And in motion, a South Summit man goes, and Jones keeps this time. He's got a little room. Nice tackle from behind, number 12. Grover on from that spot, comes from behind Jones. Does a good job in the open field. It'll bring up 2nd and 6 for South Summit.
And really that's one thing that South Summit has to start thinking about right now with the ball game nearly in hand. There's about 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. They've got a big lead. Really the most important thing at this point, take care of the ball and get out of here without any significant injuries. South Summit had 2 weeks to rest between their last regular season game and this game to kind of get healthy, and they'd like to stay that way.
Quinn Zimmerman still on the trainer's table in front as they hand off to Averett. Averett cuts back, still breaking tackles, and he's running through tackles as South Summit's offense has been on the field the majority of this ball game, and time possession has been incredibly in favor of the Wildcats, and this San Juan defense has been on the field for a long time, making a lot of tackles, and may start to wear as Averett that time breaks several. It's 1st and 10, South Summit. Ball is at the 35-yard line. And South Summit once again into San Juan territory as Averett is ground yards away. And this time Jones will hand off to Averett again, and yardage up the middle one more time as he'll pick up 8. Ball's inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
And he's just stood up there. They just blow it dead as he stood up. They want to try to keep people off each other's legs, so they blow it dead before he goes down. But he comes up just a bit short of the 1st down. So South Summit just working on keeping that clock running just under 2 minutes now in the 3rd quarter. And you'll probably start seeing, especially in the 4th quarter, a few new guys coming in from the South Summit bench. Make sure they get out of here healthy.
2nd short for South Summit. Ty Jones now is going to keep and pitch over to Gines. Gines cuts it back, and he's got a lot of room on the right-hand side. He cuts it back. Keaton Gines will go just a touchdown. They give it to him. Keaton Gines.
A little shy about calling the touchdown right now because we were burned earlier in the game, but this time Keaton Gines, and that's a tough play as we got actually a flag right at the end there. Something's been said that was not appropriate apparently, but a great job of Keaton Gines, and once he gets going downhill, he is so fast that he can just go around people, and he was a blur of green going into the end zone there. We'll see what the play or the penalty was.
So, providing that thing's not called back, it looks like it was post-possession. Yeah, it looks like it was after the possession of unsportsmanlike conduct against South Summit. So once again, got to clean some penalties up. Is a little messy,
Yeah, too many 15-yarders today for South Summit, and that's something they cannot afford in a tight ball game. And I guarantee they have a couple of those. 2 more games, hopefully they win, and I'll bet that it comes down to something like that, and we hope that that South Summit can avoid those type of things, as they'll probably tack that on. So we'll see a return. We'll see a return here for San Juan as they'll assess the penalty on the kickoff.
So Bracken Santos, extra point duties for the Wildcats. Snaps a good one, holds down, nice big kick up, in good. It's a 43-0 lead for South Summit as they score again first in this second half. We'll take a break as it's all South Summit. .128 left in this third quarter. South Summit High School 2A quarterfinal game between San Juan and South Summit. Long day here for San Juan in terms of their travel as they came up last night from San Juan, roughly 270 miles away from South Summit. There aren't many further places away in 2A than San Juan. I don't think there are any. And anyway, long road trip for the Broncos to come up. They spent the night in Provo, they said last night. Took the hour drive up here to South Summit today. They'll have a long bus ride home tonight and would like to positively get some positive opportunities in this game to try to build on as they're having a hard time moving the ball. A little squib kick from the 15-yard penalty, and they're into South Summit territory. Great field position, so here's an opportunity for San Juan to try to put some points on the board. South Summit electing to squib that one, and it's fielded early in the squib, and they get about 12 yards on the possession or the return. It'll be 1st and 10, San Juan.
And you see the respect that South Summit special teams coach has for the return game of San Juan as he elects to give up several yards on a squib rather than the big one that may come on a return if he kicked it deep to the return men.
Under center for the Broncos, Palmer, and he's going to fake the handoff, trying to set something. Here comes Caden Christensen, and Palmer does a nice job of throwing that ball out of bounds as he was taken outside the pocket. Caden Christensen off the left side, putting a lot of heat on the quarterback from San Juan. He saves yardage, throws it out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10.
You could almost see Caden Christensen licking his chops as he came free at the quarterback, almost fell down in anticipation of hitting the quarterback. Got there, and the quarterback felt the pressure and had this presence of mind to throw that out of bounds as you saw he was outside of the tackle box and could just throw it away.
2nd and 10 for the Broncos as Palmer's been forced to put the ball up more and more in this ball game. And now with 3 seconds, they may not choose to get another play off, and they'll allow it to end. This third quarter's over. We got 1 quarter left in this ball game. South Summit leading 43-0. We'll be back with fourth quarter action. Just gotten a little word on Quinn Zimmerman, has some knee problems on that left knee. He's getting iced up. He'll get it looked at after the ball game. We hope it's not serious, as Quinn Zimmerman, the starting corner for South Summit, is hopefully just banged up a little and be back soon, but hopefully things work out well for him. It's 2nd and 10 for San Juan as Morley's trying to break tackles. He's tripped up there by Averett, and Morley's going to lose 3 or 4 yards on the counter. It'll bring up 3rd and 14 for the Broncos.
And it looked like Colby Averett actually got in there and dove at his feet and was able to tie it up, as it looked like he had some room to the outside, but he wasn't going anywhere, and it's because Averett had a hold of his foot. So good job of Averett starting that, and then Brad Richens finishing it off for a loss.
3rd and long for the Broncos. Ball just inside South Summit territory at the 49-yard line as Palmer forced to throw on this pass as he's back. He's got time this time, trying to find a man. He's across the middle. Great play there by San Juan, and it's caught there by number 10, Bowering. Bowering gets the first down. Great job by San Juan on the little comeback route. Little circle route there right on the 31-yard line from Bowering. They pick up the first down on a 3rd and 14, so good job there by the Broncos.
Bowering seems to be the go-to receiver for the quarterback here, as he's targeted him several times this game.
Palmer back to pass again, more time, looking for another man. Got him outside on the outside to number 8, Daquan Lopez. So back-to-back consecutive pass plays from the Broncos. Santos for South Summit drives him out of bounds. It'll bring up 2nd and 3 for the Broncos.
And they've been able to protect the quarterback a lot more, San Juan has, this second half. As these last 2 plays, he's had time to drop back and find his guys in the patterns.
And once again, Palmer, this time nobody's there, and oh, wow, right through the hands of McNair as McNair was sitting waiting. A little miscommunication from receiver and quarterback as Bowering for San Juan decided to go on a second move, and Palmer wasn't prepared for that. McNair was sitting waiting for the ball. It slips right through his hands. He'd like to have that one back. So big break there by the Broncos.
That's like a wide open layup that nobody's around. You can't miss this, don't miss this, don't miss this, and he missed it. Too much time to think about it as he ran the comeback and he dropped it right in his breadbasket. He was unable to hold on to it.
He was looking at 70 yards ahead of him because there was nobody in front. This time they come back on the handoff. Number 21's hit hard there by Hunter Angel. The running back is Braxton Brown for the Broncos. It'll bring up now 4th and long on a nice play there by Hunter Angel from that middle linebacker spot.
So another big loss will bring up 4th down. This is probably 4-down territory for San Juan. They'll go for it. South Summit here in this same situation, punted for a 4-yard gain. They should have been probably just going for it, but at this point, San Juan faces the same decision. I assume they're going to go for it, trailing by a bunch. May as well try to pick up it as they've had some success passing the ball on this possession.
So Palmer, 4th and 7 for the Broncos. And he's going to look right, got some heat coming, finds a man again, and right through the hands, unfortunately, number 12, Grover, as Palmer put it, or that's 82, Lewis.
Yep.
82, Lewis, great route again. Palmer puts it right on the numbers, and unfortunately, Lewis for San Juan, unable to bring it down. Would have been a first down, and for South Summit, they'll get the ball on the missed connection there from Palmer to Lewis, and it'll be 1st and 10, South Summit. San Juan's receivers do an excellent job, I've noticed, coming back to the football, give their quarterback a chance to deliver it. He did there, and just unable to execute the play.
Yeah, they've kind of found a weak spot for South Summit here in the second half. They've had some success passing the ball, where in the first half he just didn't even have any time to throw the ball. This time he's had the protection he needed, and he's been able to find some guys open.
So South Summit's starting to make a few substitutions. This time the junior quarterback, Bracken Santos, comes in. They come up under on a handoff to number...
That's Colby Averett still.
Averett's still in the ball game. Averett's going to rush for about 3-4 yards, and it'll bring up 2nd and 7.
So South Summit, it looks like they're going to be sailing to the victory here tonight. They lead 43-0, and they'll meet up with the winner of the Beaver-Parowan game, which will be kicked off at 6 o'clock tonight at Beaver. So we won't be able to give you any updates, but South Summit looks like they'll meet up with the winner of that game next week in Cedar City.
Santos keeps her hands off again to Averett, right up the middle. Averett grinds for 3-4 yards. It's going to bring it out to the 34-yard line, where it'll bring up 3rd and about 3. South Summit played Beaver early on in the year in the region crossover game. Beaver had to travel up here to South Summit. South Summit ended up winning that ball game 37-6, and was a little bit tight for a little while. South Summit ended up breaking it open towards the second half of that ball game. So each team, providing, Beaver beat Parowan, and who knows to say how that game will go, but South Summit has played down in that region, the region champ, and went their way, and so they'll be awaiting that winner as Santos is drugged down from behind. Nice play there by number 5, Sterling Black, for the Broncos, and they'll force fourth down situation for South Summit. So a good stop there by the Broncos, and Thornton for South Summit will be back to punt.
Santos had some room ahead of him, but had some speed there. Number 5 coming from the backside. If he hadn't got a hold of Santos, he had 10 yards ahead of him before anybody was going to touch him. So a good job there from the backside coming up and making a play.
All right, Lopez and Bowering back for the Broncos. Victor Thornton, nice deep kick, forcing back Bowering. The ball bounces over top of him. South Summit jumps on top of it. Number 27 for the Wildcats, Luke Sidaway on the coverage. It'll down at the 25-yard line, and San Juan will get probably one, possibly two more possessions. Could be the last one. See if they can't put a drive together. It's a 43-0 lead for South Summit, and South Summit has controlled early and have held on throughout this ball game with a nice dominating performance, and might start to shake that dominance that San Juan has had over this team for the last 15 so years. And certainly you won't win 7 games in a row back, but it's a chance for South Summit as 2 men are in motion for San Juan. They'll bring this play back as Morley picks up good 4 or 5 yards off the right-hand side, but 2 men in motion as that ball snapped, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Broncos.
And they would have been okay if one of them would have just reset. Could have brought him back to the fullback spot and just reset. They would have been all right, but they snapped the ball with both of them in motion. The only other games going on right now in football for the state of Utah, Monument Valley is losing to Duchesne the end of the third quarter, 35-0, and Rich has a slight lead over Monticello in the second quarter at 13-7.
6:14 and counting, fourth quarter. South Summit leading. As now Palmer gets his men set. Nobody in the backfield, 5 men out in the receiver spots, and this time Palmer trying to spread them out, goes on the sneak and met there. Looks like
number 75 for South Summit.
That's Colton Peck in.
Peck hangs on, and they just blew it dead before he did the souffle move as he was getting himself loaded, just tossed the guy over his shoulder. But they blew it dead with the forward progression forward
there.
progression there. Kind of had him stopped. Didn't want him to toss him over his head.
Clock continuing to run. 5:35 left. Again, nobody in the backfield as they move somebody now to the pitch. And a little cutback move. Looks like it's number 21.
And that was a big hit from number 75 again, Colton Peck coming up. And he just looked like he hit a brick wall as that bounced backwards on the initial hit.
That's Braxton Brown, the ball carrier for San Juan. He is going to get the ball to about the 22-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and 13 for the Broncos.
The South Summit Lady Wildcats volleyball team just started their game at playoffs down at UVU, their volleyball game.
Palmer gets hit as he tries to deliver the ball. Ball falls short, trying to get out there to Morley. Unable to convert. It'll bring up 4th down, and San Juan will have to punt.
South Summit volleyball's taking on Kanab there at UVU. The first round of the playoffs for the volleyball team. South Summit's volleyball team going in as the number 1 seed in their region, taking on Kanab, the 4 seed from their respective region. I don't know that we'll get any updates there,
Just
but
got
it did
one.
start. All right.
Imagine you said here
Perfect.
From folks down there. South Summit wins the first volleyball game 25-12 as South Summit volleyball team, the region champs in Region 16 volleyball, as Keaton Giants picks the ball up. Nice job, Keaton, getting up to field that ball, keeping that ball from getting nice bounce for San Juan. He'll bring it back to the 38, 39-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for South Summit, and probably can just run this clock out with 3:55 and counting. So both teams in volleyball, as we mentioned some other sports, San Juan traditionally has had a great football program as well as a volleyball program, and I believe they were the region champs in their region. Always a tough perennial volleyball group as well as a football group, and Unfortunately for San Juan, their football season is going to run a little short, but it'll give San Juan fans, many of them have driven up, and I'm quite impressed by the number of fans that have driven up from Blanding. There must be close to 100 fans across the way from the San Juan, so some good, determined, supportive fans here for San Juan making the long trek up, and I'm sure many of them will stop by at this 2A state volleyball tournament as well. So Bracken Santos continuing to run the offense for South Summit. They pitch off left to number 12, Isaac Tillett. Flags fly from behind. Tillett gets drugged down at about the 32, 33-yard line. But this is the illegal motion on South Summit. They'll march it back 5, and it'll come again.
Looks like somebody, maybe the fullback, somebody moved a little bit early as we had another guy in motion on the sweep. But they had another guy move just before the snap, so that'll bring it back. Morley was actually the man on the tackle. Brought down Tillett after a minimal gain, but it'll come back, and it'll be first down once again, 1st and 15 this time.
So clock at 3 minutes, and stay tuned tonight on a wide variety of options in terms of video and audio for 2A football tonight. 6 o'clock, 2 more games to determine 2 more of the semifinal participants next week at SUU. Beautiful venues SUU provides for 2A football on nice place as they rotate semifinal location south to the state final up north, as Santos is going to keep, and he's off to the left-hand side trying to find some room and get the corner pushed out of bounds and drugged down by number 5 for San Juan, Sterling Black. Good pressure again as he's been on a couple nice tackles from behind. He drives Santos out of bounds at about the 31, and it'll bring up, I believe,
about an 11-yard pickup for Santos. He got plenty of yards to the outside, brought down from behind.
Bring up 2nd and 5.
So this is kind of a preview of what we'll see next year. Bracken Santos, the junior quarterback for the Wildcats. Ty Jones, also a junior, so provided he stays healthy, will probably retain that position next year. And, of course, Colby Averett, a junior also, so we'll have another chance to watch the A-Train next year.
All right, Santos keeps again. Nice keep by Santos. He hops into first down territory, and that should do it. As he picks up the first down, we'll keep the clock going. They'll have to snap probably 2 more balls. But South Summit is going to come up with a convincing and dominating win here at home in the 2A quarterfinals. So they're going to win this ball game 43-0 and take a huge monkey off the football backs of this program, as they've fallen to San Juan numerous times over the past 15 years. 4 of which have been in the state championship. And so South Summit trying to get their first championship in 25 years, 1988, the last time the South Summit Wildcat football team has brought home a gold trophy. And a good opportunity this year as they move on, hopefully unscathed, with more than hopefully Quinn Zimmerman will be okay. It looks like everyone else has fared all right. And so with 1:01 left, they'll have to snap one more time. As many pointing down the other end zone.
The field goal post seems to be teetering a little bit here on the north end.
North
like
end's
somebody's
tipped,
standing there holding it up for us. Not
So-
sure what happened, but we're in victory formation, South Summit is, and it looks like the active streak of scoring in 169 straight ball games are going to come to an end also here for San Juan, as they were unable to get on the board. They'll probably have to snap the ball one more time. So we'll be interested to see who wins that game tonight against Beaver and Parowan, to see who the getaway. Again, Parowan and Beaver both a lot closer to Cedar City than South Summit, so it'll almost be like a home game for them. So we want to make sure that any Wildcat fans that are listening make your way to Cedar City next week, because South Summit's going to take on either Parowan or Beaver in the semifinal game at 1:30 next week at SUU.
Thanks for joining us for 2A quarterfinal football. South Summit gets a big, big win over a great program, and all the respect in the world for these San Juan Broncos, as they had a great team this year, just not quite their year, as they meet a tough foe in these South Summit Wildcats. So big congratulations to both teams on a very successful year. South Summit will move on a big win here at home, 43-0. Stay tuned for more 2A state football, as South Summit will move on to the semifinals next week. They will play at 1:30 at Southern Utah University next Saturday. Please join us for more 2A quarterfinal or semifinal football next week. For Rory and Cody Bowen, and for all avenues who have brought you this game today, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you for more high school exciting athletics, and we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, stop at the